think we are live. Yes. Hopefully. I'm gonna try to refresh the stream on my side. Ah, there we go. I always have a bit of a delay when I start my stream. Okay. I guess I can minimize OBS now. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. If I need to turn the volume up, if I need if I need to turn this music up or down, let me know. Ah, okay, good. He could see me. Hello, everybody. Yay, okay. I'm gonna zoom in on you because my eyes are tired. Hello, everyone. And yes, I fully admit, or I'm aware that I basically have like a halo right now because my big light in the room is right behind me, which is not ideal. But when it comes to streaming the art, this is what my screen is going to be. So I need the light to be on this desk, not like making me look good. So sorry, I just have a weird glowing face. Yes, I am glowing. As if I needed any help looking more pale. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Saturday night here in Scotland. It's been dark for like 2.5 hours, but I have my lights up around my desk. It's very cozy in here. I'm actually premiering a video over on my other YouTube channel. So that when that ends, which should be pretty soon, I think it's gonna redirect everyone here. So we'll suddenly have more people. And Wolfy's in the chat taking care of stuff over there, thankfully. That's the one tricky part about doing that, is like I can't be in the chat at the end of that premiere and also do this. Hello, Oregon, Seattle, California, India, wow. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. And there's a huge variety. Sweden, Belgium. Oh my gosh, I love it. I know Heiko's in Germany, New Jersey. Wow. So yeah, let me know if the music is too quiet or too loud. I can adjust that. I just wanted some like very chill music on in the background. And I mean, I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can even hear it. I'm gonna be, like, usually when I start a stream, we chat for a little while because like it tells people I'm live, but then people don't see it right away. So I give people a little time to come on in. It's not like this is a tutorial or anything. We're just hanging out. I'm gonna be painting this. Actually, I'll show you in the other screen. I'm gonna be painting this forest scene. Just printed a photo. I'm gonna be using gouache today. I'm gonna be using toned paper. So it's gonna be a study session for me, and I'm excited. I haven't done a live stream in a very long time. Like this kind of live stream, I mean. So, yeah, if anyone else wants to paint along, you're welcome to. It's, like I said, not really a tutorial, but I would love to hear what you're working on. If you want to pop over into Discord and share what you're working on. Actually, do we have a command for Discord? I just realized we don't. Hold on, let's fix that. Because I always talk about it and then people leave comments and they're like, what's Discord? Or how do I get into Discord? So 1 second. See, there's always something when I start a stream. Oops. And if you don't know what Discord is, okay, I just added a command, !Discord. If you don't know what it is, it's like a chat server. It's like a way more modern version of AOL chat rooms. If you know what that was, you are my people. But yeah, a lot of artists and hobbyists and non-artists even, lots of people of all walks of life hanging out and sharing life stuff, lots of art sharing, lots of sketches and projects, and like you can ask for feedback, you can just post stuff you're working on. It's really fun. And I'm pretty much checking in every day. I've been using it for years, ever since I did Twitch streaming. So like the community, some of the people in that community, in our little Discord community, have been around for many years, which is so wild to think of, actually. You had to turn your sound up to hear me. Voice needs more volume. I wonder if it's because of the direction of the mic. Hold on. I'm gonna try to do this very gently so I don't make anyone's ears bleed. Is that any better? The microphone was like facing away from me for a minute. AOL, you've got mail. Wasn't that the best sound? You're like, oh, I have mail. Oh my God, I matter. It's so funny to think back about the struggles that we had in the early internet days. Is that better? Okay, good. Sorry about that. I totally forgot my microphone was plugged in that way. What?
I don't believe that I gave permission to use the outtakes.
The bloopers? Wolfy's here. You have to duck down.
What?
Otherwise you're just like a crotch. Oh wait, here. This is the live view. It sounds way better now. Yay! So if anyone is here from my live premiere that just finished, hello, welcome.
Hello. I've just found out that I was in the video.
Thank you. It was amazing.
Uh-huh.
How do I close this?
What? I don't know, it's an iPhone.
Okay, I'm done. I guess I'm done with that. Yeah, look at how many people from so many countries. Hello, everybody.
From Kuwait. Cool.
Louder music would be triggering for you. Yeah, I won't turn the music up. If anything, I would turn it down if you needed me to, because I like very low music in the background.
South Africa.
I mean, there's going to be times when I'm sitting here painting and we're not, like, talking, so the music is just nice to have.
Our interaction together, yeah, she films me and then says it won't go in anywhere, and then it
I never said that.
Yes,
I never said anything.
You always say that.
I never said anything.
Japan, wow.
I just filmed.
Totally want to go to Japan.
Cat and pencil. I should start with a value study today, but I might just dive into paint.
Montana. Isn't that is that Yellowstone? Montana.
Yeah.
Is it?
Wait, how did you say it?
Yellowstone?
No.
Montana?
Montana.
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 Oh, sorry, should I be saying Montana? Like...
I mean, I'm not one to say anything. I can't do a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Worth
well,
my
that
life.
was evident from the end of the video there, yeah.
See, I had to show them both side by side. That was what made it work.
Yeah. I think the only thing that was Scottish about what you said was the fact that you said the word "we."
The wee calendar.
The wee calendar.
Speaking of which, link in description. Actually, I am having a big, humongous, once-a-year print sale. So if you're interested in art, if you want to give anyone art for Christmas and support an independent artist, and keep Wolfy busy.
Yeah.
He already has so many orders that came in this weekend, so thank you. And
yeah, there's been tons of them.
it's been like I woke up to so many new order emails. I was wow. And also a note about the prints, the existing prints on my web shop are being retired at the end of this year. So everything you see on there right now, the prints, won't be there on January 1st. Like, they're going away. In the new year, at some point, I'm going to release like limited edition print runs. So I'm making space for that. We're just getting rid of old stuff and in with the new. There are a few prints that are very, very popular and highly requested, which, you know, maybe someday in the future they'll come back for like a week and then we'll do like a quick flash sale for those particular ones. But otherwise, they're all going away. So
I'm not lazy.
What? Oh. Heiko. By the way, you guys, if you don't know, Slave of Hell in chat, Heiko, he's like one of our best friends and he's in Germany. And we only get to see him like once a year, every 2 or 3 years. But him and Wolfy have great banter. Yeah. And I find it hilarious. And also when they're together, they gang up on me, which isn't as hilarious. But they're so cheeky. And Heiko also loves to prank me and jump scare me. Well, he does too, actually.
Yeah, I do.
So when they're together, it's even worse. It's like they're conspiring to jump scare me somehow.
Where's NC? North Carolina.
North? Yes. Oh, the other day, Wolfy was... I forgot how it started. But
I think it was just watching the election stuff. Like, I was trying to guess all the states based on the
we were watching the results, and it was like showing all the states and the results and everything. Anyway, he was like seeing the initial NC NY. That one's pretty obvious. And he would just go down the whole, or actually, he just went from like East Coast to West Coast and tried to guess every single state, which I found so entertaining because. But it's obvious now that I think about it. Like, he didn't grow up in America. He doesn't... Why would he know all the states? Some of them, which I was like, how do you not know that one?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, how do you not know Ochtermachty?
Yeah. Yeah. And then we're driving down the road here. It's like, I don't know a lot of the towns here. Mm-hmm. But I just found it very entertaining. And actually, he guessed almost all of them.
There was a lot of them that I did not guess very well.
How long do you think this stream will be? Have time to watch a different video? This stream will probably...
No, you must stay here.
This stream will probably be about 2 hours, I'm guessing. You know, after we do our initial... We've been chatting for about 12 minutes, so after we do a little more chatting, I'll just jump into painting and we'll hang out. I'm going to be doing a study, as I mentioned. I'm going to be painting this with gouache and untoned paper. My favorite...
crochet art displays. So beautiful. What? Would you ever consider to sell or maybe teach a class on your crocheting art displays?
Oh, you mean the embroidery?
The
embroidery landscapes?
The little circular things.
I remember I gave that to her already.
No, there's the little circular things that you did. Is that not what she's talking about? Is that not the crocheted ones? Little crocheted...
The embroidery, like the thing.
Little wooden circular.
Those are... I made those with the girls.
Oh, okay.
Like a million years ago.
Okay, different then.
But that is embroidery. That's cross stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stream will be available offline afterwards, yes. Do you know all the counties in the UK? Not even close. Yeah. And having Wolfy is so cute. He's so cute. We were going to start the stream by having Wolfy in here printing and packaging orders. But I started to think it might get too loud and distracting.
And also this
and
is
then
a box room.
And this is a tiny room, so we'd be like bumping into each other. Yeah, and also then he couldn't really be in chat, which helps me if he's in chat. But last time he was in chat, he was in the bedroom with the kitties, and he fell asleep about an hour in.
No, I did. That didn't happen.
Yeah, I had a video of you.
There's no video, no.
Speaking of which, let me show you this. No, it's not what you think. Before I walked into the stream, look what I saw in the bedroom. Oh my god. Oh my god. Every time I walk in there, they're in like a different configuration and my heart just melts because for so long, I just didn't know if Loki would accept Akira. Aw, that's amazing to hear. I'm so happy that you're learning from my videos. That's the most I could hope for, honestly. Like, if I die tomorrow, having my videos out there spreading joy and helping people learn something is pretty much all I could hope for. That was kind of morbid, but I mean, yeah. I'm just saying I don't really have a goal beyond that right now. I love painting. I love sharing inspiration. I love being in nature. I love trying to shift people's opinions about themselves and what they can accomplish as an artist to a positive side. Because when I started, I was very experimental and excited about painting, but I just didn't really know how to do it. And I had so much fear. And for a long time, that fear stopped me from doing it in a way I wanted to do it and trying new things. And I just had to like persevere every single day to get through that fear. So I always want in my videos to somehow inspire people to just go for it and try it and keep improving in whatever way helps them, basically. And I know we're all different. So you can take some of my advice and take lots of other artist advice and combine it. Set or...
Right.
All right.
I'll leave you to it.
Yeah, I just kind of segued into art stuff, so.
Have fun.
Where are you going to be?
Look at this.
Are they still in the cutest position? Yeah, Akira snores so loud. Oh, look at Floki. Oh, he loves to like spread out so much. Oh my god. Wait, did someone mention Twitch in chat? I swear I saw something about Twitch. Was it you? Heiko. 108 months up. You're like the only one, I think. So if anybody has any questions during today's stream, do the @ symbol, my name. If I miss your question or comment, like every once in a while, obviously I'm going to try to look at chat and catch up. But if I happen to miss something, just try again. I'm not purposefully ignoring anyone or not answering something.
I'll be downstairs, but I'll try and keep an eye and just shout if I see anything.
Sorry for killing you with cat cuteness. You're coming to Scotland. May is an amazing month. Oh, May might be one of my, I mean, it is one of my favorite months. I always say, like, when spring comes around, I'm like, this is my favorite. But then autumn comes around, this is my favorite. I do think October is probably my all-time favorite. September, late September into October. But you can also have a really awful stormy October and that kind of ruins it. So when it's nice, October is the best. Any way to follow along with your gouache tutorials without purchasing materials? Have them just not using. So as of now, so the gouache subscription boxes, that's this. If anyone is curious, I have a gouache subscription box service. There's 12 months. Every month you get a new box. This is the last one, by the way. You can actually, we're doing forest today, which is kind of a similar vibe. And inside the boxes, you get brushes and paint, and it comes with a full-length tutorial. So as of now, you can't get the tutorial any other way. And that's mainly because, at least for the foreseeable future, I want people who've ordered it and still working through their way through the boxes to get like the full value out of that. I'm not gonna offer it elsewhere, at least for a while. So it's like a one big kit. But if you factor in the overall price of the entire subscription, it's almost the same price as like taking a workshop with someone, but you get 12 whole months of it and the supplies and everything combined. So it's actually a really good deal. It does keep you busy. I know a lot of people who have the boxes who are still like just starting and they have a big stack of them. working their way through it. And I'll put the link in chat. And if you want to check it out, there's the link, info in the description. We have a lot of announcements happening this time of year. So let's get started. Let's paint. Just out of curiosity, how many of you are painting or sketching? Press 1 in chat, or type 1 in chat. I'm going to be using a gouache that I haven't used in a while. Turquoise, or not just turquoise, but Dollar Rowney Designer's Gouache. It's just been in my drawer for ages, and I kind of realized I don't want a lot of different brands sitting in my drawer, getting old and, you know, turning rock hard over the years without me realizing it. Like, I just want to work my way through the giant stacks of gouache that I have until I'm left with like my favorite stuff. And then of course I'll reorder as I use it. Oh my gosh. So many people in chat. Wow. Okay, cool. I love this. So much creative energy flowing through chat. You have the stack. Oh man. Actually, come to think of the brushes and all of that, for if you also are new here, I have a set of custom brushes that I designed specifically for gouache, but you can use them for watercolor as well. These are the brushes. They come in a set of 7, I guess, and they're on sale right now. So if you go to that Craftama link I posted, not just my brushes, but I think everyone's brushes, there's a sale, and I think it goes until sometime next week, but if you've been kind of waiting or not sure, I can highly recommend them. I've been using them for a couple of years now for everything I do. And obviously I'm biased because I designed them, but I designed them specifically to do the things I want to do with gouache and watercolor. So yeah, that's that. Now let's paint. I've got to get all the housekeeping out of the way. What? His joke. Oh, I missed the joke. Oh, that's not his joke. Oh my gosh. That's definitely an ongoing joke. Wolfy thought that was your joke that you invented. What brand would you recommend for studio work? A beginner set of a few colors. Yeah, I would definitely recommend a beginner, like a high quality brand, but just a few colors. And that's, you know, it's kind of personal. Choosing the colors is a personal thing. I have mine that I recommend. Learning how to mix from as soon as you can into your journey is really, really, really helpful. Gouache. Gouache. A good reference book or something to help with values? That's a good question. Values. I don't. Mitch. Oh, wait. Let me think. There's a book that I saw the other day. Is it that one? No, that's the one I have. Actually, that one is a really good one. Like for instance, Mitchell Albala, I think is how you say his name. Albala. He's an amazing master artist. He has a few books, actually, really good books. Also, James Gurney does have a book about color and light, which he probably talks about value as well. If anyone else wants to recommend books in the chat, please do. Okay. Let's do it. So, yeah, I was just saying, I'm using Dollar Rowney Designer Gouache, just because I want to use it up before it takes a long time for gouache to go bad, and kind of like sometimes it can become rock hard. Sometimes it can completely separate from the binder and then it's just a big mess if you don't use it for like years, I'm saying. Or maybe if you don't tighten the caps and don't use it for like a couple months, then it can also turn rock hard. So sorry, let's get the bag sound out of the way. I want to use this up. I don't really use metallic very much, so I'm not going to use that. That's probably won't use the gray. It's been a while since I used these. Hopefully I don't regret it. Okay, what did I miss? I'm going to be using my Redgrass Games palette. I have like 4 of their Stay Wet palettes. This is one of my favorites. The V2, there's like a newer one that's bigger that also has a glass palette. All of those are amazing. And by the way, I might be getting an affiliate link with them. And if I do, I'll put that in my favorite supplies link, which I share everywhere. It's in like all of the video descriptions I've ever shared. But they might be having a sale right now too. I'm not sure. Everywhere's having a sale right now. Basically just think of things you want and they're probably having a sale because it's that time of year. So basically what I'd like to do when I'm gonna paint, especially on a Stay Wet palette like this, is I get the sponge wet. It's not dripping or anything, but I get that wet and then I put the palette paper in and I spray it. And then I close the top for like a half an hour or an hour. And that kind of softens. It's very special paper. It lets moisture in through the bottom, but not so much through the top. But if I don't spray the top and get it wet, then it like curls. It's kind of weird. So then I open it after like a half an hour or an hour and I just kind of wipe off any excess water. And then this is good to go. I can put my paint on this, close it up, leave it there for like a week and come back to it. The only thing I have to be careful of is not to introduce too much water before I close it for a few days because then it can turn into like a big runny mess. But it's awesome if you are a bit slower at painting or yeah, you just need to take more than one day to do a piece. You don't have to like remix all your mixes or worry about wasting your gouache. You can just close the lid and good to go. So highly recommend Stay Wet palettes in the studio. Do you have to paint thicker on toned paper? Yeah, you can't really paint super thin. That is one of the tricky things. Well, you'll probably see me doing it. Would you like a sketchbook peek? This is one of my newer sketchbooks, which I only have a few pages in, but it's the same exact one as my old Stillman and Burn. What I do sometimes is put a piece of like tracing paper between pages so that they don't rub on other pages. Or you could use like spray fixative or some kind of fixative. So you've probably seen a bunch of these on YouTube. I don't really have to go through everything, but I just wanted to show you what's going on lately. But I also have so many sketchbooks going at once. This was the end of Plein April. It's this was one of my Patreon tutorials. This was also Plein April, I think. Just looking out my window. Hello, welcome. If you're new, we're just gonna get started painting in a second. Yeah, I pretty much always say that, and then I keep jabbering on. I could probably paint on this page, but I'm going to probably save that for a drawing in the future. This is acrylic gouache, so I don't have to worry about this. I can get it wet even and it'll be fine, but obviously I'm not going to do that. It's just really, acrylic gouache is very convenient. Okay, those are some recent sketches. I guess it's time to study. You got the B set of Shinhan in a sale. Awesome. The palette paper for the Stay Wet palettes, they do a lot of the different brands. They will curl, which is a bit annoying. So hopefully that little tip helps. Keep yabbering. Well, it's like I said, it's not really a tutorial, so we're just studying together today. This is what I'm painting. I'm going to keep it kind of off to the side. Yes, I do use the Dorland's wax. I do. It depends. The struggle I have with the Dorland's wax is if it's in a sketchbook that I take with me outside, I've realized that I love to protect the paintings, and the Dorland's wax, from what I've tried, is the best because it's completely waterproof, basically. But if I'm taking it outside, my sketchbook gets abused. It gets tossed around in my bag. It gets tossed around in the car. It gets squished between heavy things all the time. And I realized in my old one, which is downstairs, that some of the pages where I use the Dorland's wax, the pages didn't necessarily stick together because of the wax, but the wax surface kind of burnished. And I don't like how that looks. So it's pretty much just an aesthetic thing. So the tracing paper, it is for kind of preserving the paintings and the pages until I'm done with the sketchbook, really, and then I can seal the paintings so that in the future, because it's just going to live on my shelf in here, it'll be safe. Then I don't have to worry about it. So it's kind of just a temporary thing, and it's only on pages where there's a lot of gouache on both sides, really. But like this is acrylic gouache, so that won't matter. I don't have to worry about that one rubbing or getting messed up. Yeah. Oh, here, I can show you better on this side. This is the peak at the last box. A mossy forest, which is definitely a good intro if you haven't done forests much. And basically what I talk about in that box is directly applied when I do something like this. This one is way more complicated, but like, yeah, you use the same idea, the same approach. I'm gonna maybe tape my page. I'll probably, where am I gonna put my sketchbook? Like here. So let's just center it. Actually, I need, it's gonna be kind of a skinny or a horizontal. Wow, that was really crooked. Sometimes I'll just use spray fixative for gouache for like temporary stuff. Or if I just do like a little postcard and it's, if it's gouache, regular gouache, I'll spray it with fixative, toss it in my giant stack, and then it's more or less okay. It's just, I usually just use the Dorland's wax medium for like the final finished stuff or stuff that's not going to be framed. Like, for instance, I just sold a couple original gouaches, which are not framed under glass, and they are sealed with the wax. But you can also use, like, wet varnish. You just need to be very careful, and you should probably do a couple practice runs before your final piece, because you need to get, like, a really good strategy for doing it right. I wouldn't wing it on your final piece. Advert in the middle of Dorland. Oh. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I do still use Dorland's wax. But in a sketchbook that's going with me outside all the time, I use the tracing paper as a way to avoid the Dorland's wax getting burnished between pages, because that happens when the sketchbook is often very like getting squished a lot or thrown around a lot, like I do. The Dorland's wax will get kind of burnished, or sometimes you can even like scratch the surface of it, and it just can get messed up. The tape I'm using is Hanamulla. This is the tape that comes in my gouache boxes, except I think it looks like this in the boxes. But it's I think Hanamulla sells this, and it's one of the most gentle but effective tapes I've ever tried. That's why you don't see me using my blue tape as often anymore, even though I still have a bunch of that. That stuff is amazing, but this one, it just never rips. So why do I have this brush out? Oh, I was using it for that. And now, for those of you who've never joined me for a live stream, you get to see how easily distracted I am all the time and how much I struggle to stay focused. I'm breaking the illusion in my live streams. Let's see, I'm gonna use a couple big brushes. Obviously, I need my flats. I might use a small round. We'll see. I mean, it's funny. I always take my brushes out of my brush holder, which is literally next to me, when I could just leave them in there until I need one. But I just like to have them on the desk near the water. For some reason, that it's like I can think about that. Otherwise, I forget I have brushes. Like I have 1,000 brushes in this room, especially over there. And yet I'll forget if they're not right here. And so I'll use one brush for the whole thing, which actually is a good strategy. Using one brush for an entire painting is, especially a bigger brush, is so good for helping you learn how to kind of create shorthand strokes for different things. Like you can get really creative with one brush and you can paint a tree trunk and the branches and the leaves and the pathways and the water and all the different things. It's good. just believe me, it's good. Huh? Both of my, the other filbert is in one of the boxes, but filbert brushes in general, I like when I'm doing soft things like skies, for instance. I love using a filbert brush. The edges are a little, they're slightly rounded, but they're still kind of like a flat brush, just obviously the edges are rounded. And I treat it like a flat brush, but I end up with softer brush strokes. I don't end up with so much, such geometric shapes. So if I'm feeling just kind of like soft and whimsical, I'll use something like a filbert. If I'm feeling kind of strong and graphic, I will use, or if I want my piece to look very strong and graphic, I'll use more flat brushes. If I'm going for more realism, then I'll use a wide variety of brushes and just kind of layer the different textures and brush strokes. Okay. Once I get the paint on, we gotta paint. It's like, so actually that reminds me, let's do the drawing really quick, because why squeeze the paint out if you're just gonna let it sit? I guess I can just do that. Ooh, duh. Tape it. What paper is this? This paper is Stillman & Byrne Nova Sketchbook. Beige. Brushes like to be chosen before the project, yeah. Cool. Hey, Ashley, it's Troop. I know, if I had read your entire name, I would obviously know that. Don't forget to drink water, and eat something every hour so your energy doesn't crash. That's my problem usually when I stream. Cool, let's draw. If you want my reference photo, take a screenshot. This is purposefully not trying to be a tutorial. This is a study session where we're just all painting something, drawing something, hanging out, talking about art and life. And I do so many tutorials that I just need to not do a tutorial sometimes online. So yeah, take a screenshot if you want. And I see this is a small print, I would say. I purposefully don't use a big image on my screen or a big print of a reference. I like to minimize it, especially if I can make it similar to the size that I'm going to be painting. Because then if you're trying to be accurate with placement, you literally just have to compare your outline of your painting to the outline of the photo. Usually I print even smaller than this because that also minimizes the detail in the image. I also make it a little blurry, so I've actually blurred this slightly before printing it, and that minimizes even more detail and it helps me just like hone in on why I liked it in the first place. Like, to me, the thing that draws me to this scene is the ray of light coming through. It's the darkness of everything else. That ray of light, the color that's just highly saturated and illuminated there draws me in. And this is something I see all the time in Scotland, and it's just so beautiful. You'll be walking through the forest. It's like this dark, moody forest, and up ahead you see this patch of light beaming through. The moss is like neon right in that one area, and everything else is dark. I just can't get enough of it. So I don't need to see every leaf and pine tree and thing that's happening. I can make stuff up as I go. As long as I capture that, then I'm happy. As long as I capture that feeling, that kind of magical atmosphere, then I'm happy. You have to go, okay, not having reference. Enjoy your movie night. Have fun. Let's see, just want to make sure I didn't catch or miss anything. Watching while painting from the Outer Hebrides. The Outer Hebrides are islands off of this island. They're the outer islands off of Scotland. Paint from the photo without printing it? Oh yeah, all the time. Like, I'll just pop the photo up on my monitor where you guys are right now, or a nearby device of some kind. I would say I do that like half the time, but I really, for a stream, it's just easier for me to not have to fit everything onto my laptop. This is what I need to look at. So I started doing that more recently. And also, it's also great because when I'm flipping through my sketchbook, I can, in my other sketchbook, I have even more of these, but that seeing exactly what my reference was in the future when I'm flipping through is just a nice touch. Actually, that reminds me, this is my other toned paper sketchbook, which is literally just craft paper. It's nothing fancy. People ask me what it is, and I'm just like, But this is mostly now dedicated to master studies. So I have a few things I started with in here. This is what I like to do. So when I'm doing master studies, I also print that and set it next to me. So Edgar Payne, his use of color and creating atmospheres is just amazing. So I like to do master studies of his work. And I have a lot of different, I have so many saved in a folder on my computer that I want to do someday. So I keep the master study next to it, so in the future I can remember like what I was thinking, kind of. The tricky thing is you don't always know what colors they used, so like I'll mix with a totally different yellow and I'll get really different greens, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, next time I need to use that other yellow. So these are just some quick examples. This is a contemporary artist, Collie Wisson. I learn a lot doing master's studies about how people use color very differently than I do, or think about color differently than I do, I would say. So it's a very valuable tool. Hey, Carlia, first time here, hello. Claritza, hello. You got your calendar, yay! You have another stream, okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on this time of year, especially on a Saturday, so I get it. But I knew that if I did like a weekday stream, way less people would be able to attend. And I know that a lot of people are going to watch this in the future anyway, so, you know, it doesn't... You can't please everyone, or you can't catch everyone online, I guess. I don't know if it's just the time of year, like the air is very dry in the house, especially because the heaters are on. And I'm always, like, if I'm cold, my muscles get really tense, but I pretty much have a tension headache 24/7. It's like I feel my shoulder muscles and my neck muscles are always tense. And then I get, like, it just feels like my neck is stiff. I get the tension headache behind my eyes as well. Ugh, it's just awful. And I take painkillers and stuff like that, and I try to stay hydrated, do all the things. I do all the things. I just can't escape it. But it's also a good, I feel like the colder months are a good excuse, if you want to call it that, to just slow down a little bit. The fast-paced energy of the summer is kind of fading, and I mean the holidays are a busy time of year, socially especially, so there's that. But besides that, it feels like I can kind of chill a little bit. No updates on the travel brush set yet. I should be getting the final, like, prototypes and stuff. Uh-oh. Oh, no, it's okay. I don't know if I'm going to use this white. I think I may not have screwed the cap on tight enough because it's a little bit stiff. We'll see. First time watching live. Sitting in your camper van. Oh, wow. That's cool. How is your view? I mean, I guess it's dark. How was your view? Appreciate the weekend stream. Yeah, that's... Since I do streams so rarely, I'm like, I'll just do it on a day where more people are likely to catch it, even though I know it's like a holiday weekend. It's a little more difficult for some people, but then again, time zone difference makes it challenging because, like, it's what, almost 7 p.m. in Scotland, but the majority of my audience is in the US, so I can't really do a weekday stream for most people. Let's do... Which white to use, zinc or titanium? Zinc is, I guess, slightly more transparent. Kind of depends on the brand, but need to get a neck massage. I awkwardly have a muscle massager at my desk that I literally do this when I'm sitting at my desk and, like, use it all over my back. and it really helps. That is one of the few things that has saved me over the last couple months. I'm only putting a little bit of gouache out just for now, because like, basically when I haven't used a gouache in a while, especially a color combination, if I haven't used a color combination in quite a while like this one, I don't know which way I'm gonna lean. Like, it takes me a minute to get into the painting and really kind of feel my way through the colors. So I put a little bit out, and then as I go, if I'm like, oh, I'm using a ton of yellow or a ton of ultramarine, then I'll reload that. This is a very earthy palette, I would say. Or it's going to be, like the color mixes. Although it is lemon yellow, that's a bright yellow, and ultramarine or turquoise-ish color. But I have, instead of red, I have burnt sienna, so that's automatically going to make things more earthy. And the black, that's a fun way to do green. We'll see. See how things lean. You're watching and painting from London. It was an amazing sunset, wasn't it? Peppermint oils on your temple. I actually have some somewhere. Oh, I should have made tea before stream. Actually, Wolfy. Waiter. Sir, may I have some tea? Oh, okay, now I'm in trouble. Actually, I need to text my order to the waiter. He's gonna have the most raised eyebrow in the world when he walks in. The colors I'm using, yes. I'm using lemon yellow, burnt sienna, ultramarine. Technically, it's ultramarine. It's kind of like, actually, this one's brilliant blue, which I believe is closest to ultramarine as I could get, but it might be a little bit brighter than that. And then we have cobalt turquoise type color, which is kind of like phthalo turquoise leaning cobalt turquoise, and black. I was just gonna tell him what kind though, because I have so many different kinds of tea. I guess he's watching the stream, so I can just say it. It's the, oh God, what is it called? It's Choco Mint something. It's the one in the tin. Do you need new glasses? No, I got new glasses like, what, this summer? I don't know how to describe it. I hope Wolfy was paying attention all those times I made tea. If not, I'll just drink what he gives me. When I was streaming the last 2 times, I think, he was the Wolfy Cafe, right? Is that what it was? We called it the Wolfy Cafe. No, we're not restocking any current items in the shop. So once things are gone, they're gone, which is, it's time. It's been so, well, regarding the standing stone design, the one thing I might do is make a greeting card series out of that series. So that would be one of them, because I really like that series, but I've only used it for like little things here and there. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do notebooks again. All right, let's get some paint down. At least get the first layer. I'm getting too distracted. So let's have 2 minutes of focus. Can you see? Why does my screen look kind of green? Oh god, I can hear myself in Wolfy's stream downstairs. Ugh. So automatically I'm grabbing like the vibrant tones. Trying to bring it down a notch. Guess that's probably going to be covered. One of the tricky things is with gouache, you're obviously painting with opaque paint and you're covering up your drawing. So you do the drawing as a way to kind of familiarize yourself with what you're doing in the first place, right? But then you cover it. So sometimes I'll draw it again, but also sometimes I will just use that initial I guess that initial layer to block things in as best as I can, and then I look at it as a fresh painting again. Like, then, okay, now I'm painting on top of a colored background. Don't know if that makes sense. So at the moment, I'm just thinking about super distant elements. Technically, I don't even need to paint around my foreground trees because I could just paint on top of it, but kind of just do that now and then. Probably makes life harder. Tea person. We are tea people. Wolfy Cafe up and running for the holidays. I mean, I do want to stream more around during winter. Maybe not around the holidays, but that's just part of winter. I just really like coziness of streaming in the winter, I guess. Now, the question is, do I want to go this dark this early in the painting? Maybe I won't. Maybe we'll ease into it. Ah, my hand's sticking to the palette paper. Laid back live stream. That's it. That's what it's all about. You'll probably see me looking psycho because I'm doing this at my painting. I'm squinting at it. Oh my gosh, you guys. I've been using acrylic gouache so much behind the scenes lately that it's so hard to mentally switch back to regular gouache. I keep thinking, oh, this first layer is going to dry and it's going to be permanent, and then I don't have to worry about anything. But no, it's not going to be permanent. It's going to be a mess. But it's okay. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fun. We'll get the flow back as soon as I start blending into this. Then it all comes crashing back to reality. Oh, I just love gouache so much. And okay, this might sound really weird, but you know how we talk about the ugly face sometimes? The initial stage of the painting, which looks like absolute chaos. It's a mess. It's ugly. You don't even know what it is half the time. I've been like secretly loving that stage, like swimming in the ugliness. I've been indulging in the nasty mess of the initial layer or two because I know, I trust the process so much now. I know in the end it's going to be good. It's going to be fine. And I love that moment when you finally do like one little tree or one little moment in the painting when it's like, aha, the thing is there. It just excites me so much. I don't know, I get like giddy when I think about it. So I just go crazy in the first two layers. I just like throw crap around and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. This is fun. Who cares? And then, okay, granted, sometimes it doesn't work out, but like, that's why it's a sketchbook. That's why we do it over and over and over again. We just do it a lot. So that's where I'm at with painting lately. It's a hoot. I've been trying to bring the hoot back. It's a hoot. That was a hoot. She's a hoot. My grandma used to say that all the time. Sorry, let me catch up with chat. Mount on wax onto cradle boards or another substrate for sale and display. I would say most of the time I frame a piece of art, like a watercolor or gouache, which is behind glass or some kind of material like that. But now and then I will paint directly on like a cradled board. So you can get like those aqua boards, which are kind of made for wet media. You can also get watercolor ground, so you put that down and then you can paint on top of it. So yeah, there's all sorts of methods, and I personally love how it looks without being behind glass, so I kind of want to lean in that direction, but I rarely make originals that I'm gonna sell. So yeah, that's something I need to think about more, I guess. I need, like, the last two that I've sold, or no, the last couple I've sold actually don't have glass, but right before that, the last couple were just behind glass. So it's kind of a toss-up, I guess. I prefer it without glass or anything blocking the beautiful matteness of the gouache. The tea you asked for isn't here. Yeah, it's under the window in the tin. Kind of in the back on top of the other tea, stacked up. It's all stacked. So it's in the tin, and I think it's a yellow tin. And it's like choco mint something. Gosh, I can't remember the name of it. Ugly Stage Goblin. Whiskey in Thanksgiving or tea? Well, I'm not a huge whiskey person, but good night, Heiko. Have fun. I know you have to lurk. It's okay. Hello, Stark. No, we're about an hour into the stream, but I'm just starting to paint. So, yeah, pretty much typical. Like when I do my live tutorials for Patreon, I only do a few minutes of chatting in the beginning and then we jump right into the tutorial. But when it's live streaming on Twitch, I almost said Twitch, YouTube, it's more hangout. So yeah. I need to get a little pop of color. Back here. Just a hint. There's so much potential at the beginning stage. Like, I think that's why I like to kind of ease into it. And then once I find that flow, I just go for it. Although it is a little trickier when I'm streaming. No, it's a lot trickier. It is a lot trickier to stream and paint at the same time and stay painting. Always start with yellow, then add the black. Trying to make muddy moss color. Let's see. Let's think about this background shadow and work our way forward. Acrylic gouache is, yeah, acrylic gouache is growing on me. I'm really enjoying it. I've been using Liquitex acrylic gouache mostly. So you might want to use a headache diary. Probably should. Might get your paints out. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, acrylic gouache. Liquitex I'm really enjoying. The only problem with it is that it does kind of stink. It smells like acrylic, and I'm kind of sensitive to that, so I can only really use it with a fan or with the door wide open or outside. I use it outside. It's just, I love it compared to the other ones I've tried. So I kind of suck it up and just use it. And weirdly, the other day, I was like, oh, I finally don't have a headache, so I'm going to paint. And I was like, oh, great. I'm using acrylic gouache. I'm definitely going to get a headache. And I somehow didn't get a headache. So that was lucky. Hey, Sketches. How are you? No, it's okay. When I texted you, I was like, oh my gosh, Look at this.
It wasn't.
I spilled on myself the other day. I'm a little afraid. Oh my god, look, you guys.
It wasn't chocolate, mint.
Look at this. Wolfy Cafe, 5 stars.
Just serve on a chopping board.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think
Solution.
of that. It's kind of the only... Oh no, we do have a silver platter.
Do we?
On the sideboard downstairs.
Oh.
But it's probably too much. Yeah, it's too much. Although, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to top this because it's always too full. I've done it multiple times to myself. So now I don't have to worry about spilling it. So I'll just take these. Thank you.
Now it doesn't look great at all.
Well, I'm going to set them here. Oh my gosh. And the tea's staying on the left so I don't accidentally dip into it.
Yes.
Wait, I'm going to leave that slightly open.
Right, okay.
Thank you so much. How are you doing, Sketches? Ain't love grand? It's so nice. What I love about our relationship, many things, but one especially is that we can be kind of like cheeky and playful, but we know it. So we're not like when I was saying earlier, oh, I better text the waiter. Like, some people would take that the wrong way, but we're always kind of joking and stuff. Humor is a big part of our relationship. Let's just say that. Kind of making ghost trees in the background, just thinking about where I want them. See, I'm still using the big brush, even though the little brushes would be a little easier. What I really want is a nice shadow back here, I think, to paint the darker stuff, or the lighter stuff in front of. Let's see. It's definitely the right tea. Wow. Okay, so this tea is called... Wolfy, what's the name of it again? I'm doing well, Sketches. I'm a little, scatterbrained, but I'm good. Watercolor usually paint light to dark. Is it the same with gouache? Are you painting from background to foreground? I pretty much always paint from the background to the foreground because it's opaque. So you could also paint like how an oil painter would be painting a la prima, which is almost like one layer of wetness. That's a different strategy. But I layer a lot of dry brush textures when I do gouache, so yeah, I definitely work from the background forward. But there's also... What is it? Oh, sorry, I had the wrong name. It's licorice mint toffee. There's also another one that they make that's like choco mint something. It's called licorice mint toffee, and it tastes exactly how it sounds. Minus... Like, the licorice they use is very subtle, so it's literally just there to like give you that warming sensation, you know, that licorice has. It's kind of a slightly sweet, warm feeling, and yeah, minty, kind of has a toffee-ish, but not just too desserty, because I don't like dessert teas. I feel like I should just be a tea reviewer. It's like kind of minty, but not too much. Sorry, Wolfy. Couldn't help myself. He hates the Valley Girl voice, so I do it as a joke. But he also does the, like, what is it called? The Ned voice, he calls it. Oh, man. And I can't stand that one. Okay. We got some dark trees back here. As soon as I start adding the dark trees, I realize, whoa, my background is not layered enough. So I have to... He just did it. Oh, no. I have to, like, come back in a little in the background and add a bit more. I want to do maybe a bluish haze. A lot of you know that I'm kind of in the phase of really trying to learn how to utilize gray better in my paintings. So the thing I think about all the time is my mixing piles should, like 99% of the time, they should look gray. They should be some version of gray. That's how I kind of maintain that mindset, or how I approach it. Because if my piles are all just super saturated color, my painting is going to be that way. And it's so easy to make ultra saturated mixes with gouache because it is so powerful. That yellow and that blue there, that's going to give me like a crazy neon green. So I think about, rather than individual colors like isolated, I think, are those mixes gray? Do they look too saturated? I kind of know if I'm on the right track. But even then, it's tricky to remember to do that and to keep that going throughout the whole painting, because I'm like a color fiend sometimes, and I just go crazy with color. Okay, let's see. A little bit of, break this up back there. Oh, what I was gonna say earlier, talking about like painting from the background forward. The other thing you can do in like a painting like this, where there's a bit of white, a bit of light sky peeking through, I don't have to paint that first. In fact, it probably would have been easier if I didn't paint that first. Instead, just think about your background trees, paint those background trees in, and then you can come back in and just touch little bits of that white sky peeking through, and it creates this beautiful effect of like glittering light coming through the trees. So that's another thing I'm constantly trying to remember, and something I learned more, that's like solidified in my mind more whenever I do master studies, because you can literally see the master study or the master painting. If you look up close at it, you can see the brushstroke of white coming through that tree is on top of the other brushstrokes. It's like they did that after the fact. It's like, aha, okay. Oh no, what happened? Message retracted, what happened? Don't know what happened. Sketches, are you okay? Okay. I'm going to kind of work that background just a little more, because that's a big part of it. I don't want to rush through that background and then lose or miss out on the fullness of the forest. Because again, we can come back with some sky color and touch that in. The yellow in this brand is not ultra opaque, so I'm constantly realizing that as I'm mixing my greens, like, oh right, I need to mix that more appropriately. Don't just do all the commands, Wolfy. Unless it's something someone's asking for. my gosh, this tea is so good. I drink so much of this. Sometimes I make this tea with a little more, so I add a little extra licorice. I add a little bit of ginger, a little bit of cinnamon bark. I'll pick between one of my many other things, like one of the either moringa leaf or elderflower leaf, or I have these blue mallow flowers that are really great. Sometimes I do a little bit of orange blossom, and I sometimes do extra mint. And then and then also turmeric root, like a little bit of that. So at the end, it's like really spiced up, and the bottom of the cup is so strong. Like I have to swirl it every time I drink, and then it's like, whoa, the spiciness is hitting my throat. The other thing with gouache is you put a brush stroke down and then you see how it dries, because it very often dries darker. So this is the $1 Roundy gouache. I was mentioning at the beginning of stream, I'm in the process of using up all my random brands. So whatever's just been sitting in my drawer since I bought a ton of brands to try them to see what I like the best, and I did all those gouache reviews. Most of those brands are just sitting in my drawer unused, and I don't want them to go to waste. I don't want them to like turn rock hard, or when the pigment separates because you haven't used them for so long. I paint enough where I'm like, why don't I just use up all this gouache, and then I'll just have the stuff I love and keep ordering the stuff I love, because Winsor Newton and Shinhan are the two main ones I use nowadays. Those are like my favorites. I do love Schmincke Horadam gouache, but it's insanely expensive here. I should have checked if they're doing a sale. No, I shouldn't. I have so much gouache. Stay focused. Don't do it. Don't go there. I almost texted you, Sketches, to ask if you found any insane art deals, because I kind of thought you might be on top of that. Like, you do so many art hauls and always know about what's happening in the supplies world. So I thought, I wonder if they found any crazy sales. Like, Lindsay the Frugal Crafter, she'll always come out with a video that's like, I got this palette for $10, and it's like a $70 palette. I'm like, how the heck does she find this stuff? Yeah, you have so much. Yeah. The gouache in the subscription boxes is Shinhan, yeah, which I'm so happy about. And I guess you can't really get Shinhan very easily in the US, right? Okay. It's drying dark enough, I think, so we're gonna keep going with this mix. The funny thing is I'm stopping to chat and to catch up with chat, and then I realize my brush or my gouache on my palette is totally dry, or the mixes are dry. My gouache on my brush is still kind of damp, so I can just kind of use the rest of it. But already, so usually my first layer or two is not this dry brushy, but because I'm talking a lot, it's drying so much between my layers or my brush strokes, that I'm creating like this insane dry brush effect already. Usually my first layer is much wetter and blendier. So this is going to be a very different result, I think. A very interesting result. I'm never this patient with painting. I'm always like flying through it. And the final layer or two is very dry brushy, which I love. I love, love, love it. So we'll see. You might be witnessing my future strategy. Maybe this is an aha moment for Sarah Burns. Oh, I can hear myself on Wolfy's phone downstairs. Ugh. See, that's the one of the if anyone else out there in chat streams or makes videos, you know what I'm talking about. Hearing yourself is the worst. It is horrible. I can't stand that side of it. Like when I have to edit my videos or go back through and like make chapter markers and do all that. Oh, I'm like, okay, I need to make that way darker. What am I doing? Get your head in the game. The reason I'm using black and yellow is to make a very muted green, but I'm also touching in bits of blue here and there because I want my background to be very bluish green. I want it to be kind of a gray, a blue, a deep, I want it to be a darker thing, darker layer. Then on top of that, I can come back in with lighter stuff and pop that color in the middle where this light comes through the forest. Yeah, but okay. Other people might think you have a good voice, but then when you hear yourself, there's something about that I know it's not just me. I've heard many artists and streamers say this. They just hate the sound. It's so hard to hear. You bought a big set on Amazon. Okay. I guess online you can buy it. But I think I was trying to find like blick.com or somewhere. I was trying to find prices for Shinhan and I couldn't even find it on their website. Maybe they're adding it now or something. Maybe it took a while. I forgot what I was gonna say. Something about editing and... Okay. So... I feel like what would be fun at the end of the stream is to do like a 10-minute silent... what would you call it? Sprint. Let's do like a 10-minute silent painting sprint and paint it again. Quicker, looser, maybe with different colors. I don't know. Just like to see that direct difference of what happens when I'm stopping a lot and talking and not fully focused. And, you know, obviously, like I was saying, the dry brush on this one is very different already than what I'm used to. So the result would be, I'm assuming, really different. And that could be so fun to see side by side. I don't know. We'll see how much energy I have at the end. My brush is now completely dry. Well, yeah, I think we hear our voice very differently in our own head. And then when we hear it recorded, it's like, whoa, that's how I sound. It's just startling, I guess. I don't know. Is this the reference we did together in our first live stream? No, but it's similar because it's, you know, a mossy forest. It's a beloved subject of mine. So I am always painting forests like this. Okay, let's switch to a smaller brush. That won't be so chunky. No, we're not switching to a smaller brush yet. Silly. We are finishing the bottom. Let's at least do the first layer with a big brush. Why would I even do that? Abandoning my senses. What I like to do for a forest floor is get it really dark underpainting of like either a grayish color or kind of a reddish color, because in Scotland a lot you have, in these pine forests, you have all the fallen pine needles that have dried up and they become this orangish, reddish, brownish color. It depends where you are in the forest. So you have that direct contrast of a reddish base with tons of green moss on top. And it makes the moss seem even brighter and even more vivid because those are complementary colors. So if I don't do the reddish brownish base, I can't really achieve the same effect. So it's pretty simple. It's just burnt sienna with black and a little bit of green mixed in. Sometimes a little white, sometimes a little blue. Like if I really want to make it shadowy, I'll add more blue. But the darker I go now, the better, because that's going to make the moss and all the things I do on top of it really stand out. Without it being dark enough, you can't achieve that light, the effective light you want. That's a really hard thing to get better at or to remember, because I think the tendency is to not go super dark. But in a forest, you really need that. I lost a little bit of the red, so now we're going to come back with more red. Actually, I'll let that dry and then do like a layer of red on top of that. Or not red, but like the reddish, orangish brown. The brushes, yes, they're for sale and they're on sale. So if you type !Craftomo, that's my link to the brushes. There's a set of brushes, and there's also the gouache subscription boxes, which are really fun. I need more tea. Tea break. And I believe the brushes are on sale this week, which is great. You have a little extra time. There we go. So now I'll let my brush kind of get all messed up, and I'll just brush vomit. And then because I've now filled in the base of my scene and I'm starting to see the value structure, I can see that my background is still not dark enough for what I want. Oop, that's too red. Okay, let's switch to the smaller brush. This is a 1/2 inch. The base light color white or mint. It is kind of like a minty sky blue almost. It's a little bit of both, because it's a bit of sky blue with lots of minty green over it, lots of dry brush happening. But at the end, I'm going to come back in with a touch of white and just get a couple flecks of light coming through, because I painted over the majority of that. But if you see in the reference, there's a bit of blue up here. So I want to carve away the trees to get that effect back at the very end. That's like the best feeling at the end, when you can carve back in the sky. It's so satisfying. Okay, where was I? What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was making the background a little darker. Get it all. And also I need a bit more like stuff happening on the forest floor. And some scraggly branches kind of this way and that. And I'll come back on top of some of those with more branches, I think. Yeah, this background over here is not quite dark enough or blue enough. So I'm just gonna paint. I was originally trying to save this tree. Like I had a tree here, kind of drawn into those trees. And I was just, for some reason, trying to paint over it, which is making my life so difficult. It's like, why? Why do that to yourself? It's opaque. You can just paint over it. So sometimes it's not even worth doing the initial drawing because I get in my head, I'm like, oh, I can't paint over that thing. I have to save that. Whereas if I just do a base color and then I paint on top of that with just a couple things, like maybe it's just my pine leaf layer, maybe it's just the pine needle layer, maybe it's just the moss layer, you know, different things. And then I just draw with paint. I am rambling. I'm sorry. I'm sure none of this makes sense, but this is what happens. Do you now see why it takes me like 10 takes to film one thing on YouTube? Even though I've been doing it for years, I still struggle so much to record stuff, coherent thoughts on YouTube. Let's do... Sometimes I have to like look at it at an angle because the light is glaring as it's wet and I can't quite see what value it's starting to dry at, and that's really tricky. I haven't checked chat in a second. There will be more news probably in the coming month or two about the travel brushes. I really want to tell you things, but I don't know if I can yet. Oh my gosh, that's good. It's really strong now. And it's like coating my mouth with all the spices, all the flavors. It's at that sweet spot. Like it is, actually I'm gonna pour the rest because it is perfect. I don't know if it's... It's not, I mean, look how dark that is. That looks like coffee. Oh, so good. Let's... I was saying something about the travel brushes. Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to yet. Stuff is happening. It's exciting. I can't wait to share it. I will share it as soon as I can. I will share more info, more news. And yeah. Until then, I think it would have been nice to maybe align that with, like, to have it done by the holidays and the sales and all that. But at the same time, there's already so much going on right now, like the travel brushes, or the regular brush set, the gouache boxes, my own print sale, my own print shop, my acrylic. Oh, by the way, I'm doing acrylic live this year. That's a huge thing for me, by the way. This is huge for me. I am one of the faculty for Acrylic Live. Let that sink in. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I have looked up to and watched and listened to Plein Air magazine, the Plein Air podcast, the entire time I've been painting. Years. And they invited me to be part of this. So that's why I can't words. Yeah, I can't words. It's mind-blowing to me. So I obviously have imposter syndrome with that, but I also know that, like, I speak to a different audience than this person does, and this person. Like, each person on the faculty speaks to a different type of artist, a different level of artist. I'm using acrylic gouache. I think I'm only one of a few people using acrylic gouache for Acrylic Live. So it's a different niche there. And we all have different strategies for how we work and our technique for approaching it, and even how we see art and see painting and see the landscape. So that part is what I'm leaning on, like the I'm trying to get better at not letting the whole comparison thing overwhelm me, because I do that. I admit it, I do that. It's easy to tell people not to do that, but I do it. I think it's natural. So if you are joining Acrylic Live, I'm going to be teaching on Essentials Day, which is the 25th. It's like the day before the main event starts, which is 3 days in March. So there's a link in the description for all of that. You can get a discount, I think, if you use my code. It's 3 days of painting with literal painting masters that I've looked up to for years, so that's amazing. If you are using regular gouache, they have tons of regular gouache users there, teachers there. I'm using acrylic gouache along with a couple other instructors, and my demo is going to be outside. I'm pre-recording it, but I'll be there in chat live to answer questions and talk about things. And yeah, it's happening in March. It's crazy. It's a virtual event, yes. It's, yeah, I don't think they've ever, actually this is the first Acrylic Live ever. They've done plein air live, they've done watercolor live, they've done a lot of different lives, but this is the first acrylic one. So it's virtual. They also do the plein air convention, which someday I'm gonna go to. And I mean, a lot of you have been around for a long time, so you have seen me transition from using acrylic to watercolor and gouache and other things. Like when I first started painting, I only used acrylic. So acrylic is very near and dear to my heart. It's been part of my artistic journey from the very beginning. And I kind of went from acrylic to oils at the same time as I did watercolor. I was doing a lot of things. I've always done everything, I guess. But yeah, acrylic was the start for me. So I am really, really excited about this. And it's another reason that I've been using acrylic gouache behind the scenes a lot, just to like really get a feel for it. And just, yeah, I've been falling in love with it. So it is definitely a different mindset than regular acrylic, because you can well, it's a different mindset from regular acrylic as well as regular gouache, because with regular gouache, I can get this wet and blend into this. But with acrylic gouache, I put a layer down, it's dry, I'm good to go, I can move on. It's just I find it a very relaxing mindset. So, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just staring at this like, that's wrong, that need to change that, oh, need to do that. It's funny, when you look away from your painting for a second, you really see what is wrong, what you need to do. One thing I like to do with these gouache forests is I guess I call them like ghost trees, where I do a slightly transparent glaze and it's a tree trunk, but it's hidden behind other layers and it's kind of peeking through here and there. And in the end, you just see like layers of trees in the forest, but it's technically transparent. Like the trees I'm doing now, these are like very faintly brown, and they're just ever so slightly a different color and value than what's next to it. Thanks. Acrylic gouache and acrylic. So basically acrylic gouache, it dries completely matte and it looks exactly like gouache when it's dry. And I think technically you can use a little bit more water with it and it's okay, but I prefer not to use water with it. I'm learning that I really just prefer to use it out of like straight up, without getting it really, really diluted. Like with regular gouache, I'll dilute it for the first wash and I'll get kind of wet and blend things together, and then I'll come back in with more opaque gouache. But with acrylic gouache, that's such a mouthful, by the way. I don't hardly use any water, so it's a little bit of a different approach in that too. It's definitely worth experimenting with different amounts of water depending on the brand. Like with Holbein, Acrylic Gouache, and Turner, I did find that you kind of have to use water because it's so sticky. Like you get instant brush drag without water. And it doesn't really mess it up too much when you use a bit of water with it. You just have to get that perfect ratio. You can't get too wet, otherwise it'll get really goopy or too dry. So just like but with the Liquitex acrylic gouache, I feel like as like the body just flows better, or at least maybe I'm just getting better at using it, I don't know, but I don't really need to dip my brush in the water hardly at all, just a tiny bit now and then. So yeah, and they do make matte acrylics, so don't ask me why the art product world is doing this to us. They're making it really confusing, but yeah, you can either do acrylic gouache or matte acrylics. Okay. I'm just realizing, like, usually I'd be done by now with a painting this size, but I am also trying to slow down a bit in my process, and I'm trying to... The thing is, I'm not a realist painter. I don't like to make realistic paintings, but I like to have just enough detail where you can kind of get lost in some areas of the painting and you're like, whoa, what's going on there? There's all this stuff, there's all these layers. But when you look at it as a whole, it's like, that's a thing. Like, it's a recognizable thing. I like it to be really, really abstract, but also recognizable, which is a hard thing to achieve for me. And it doesn't always mean you have to paint fast. Actually, it's helpful to be very methodical about it. Like, even though maybe a certain brushstrokes are fast and kind of wild, like they're very intentional, that's a really hard balance to find, because it feels like my instinct is, oh, just paint fast, make quick loose brushstrokes. And yeah, that works for some things, but doing it in a very intentional way, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say, like, I'm trying to be a little more patient in my painting. Like you see me now, I'm doing these little like scratchy marks. I'm getting lots of layers of dry brush. Usually I would just go and then it's done. Like that tree trunk is done. But now maybe I'll use a smaller brush and come back in with just like a hint of light on one of these little trees back here. I don't know. I'm always trying to evolve my strategy to be efficient but effective. There we go. So I think that's a little better. Lost in the details. Bioacrylics. I haven't heard of that. Maybe they'll make acrylic gouache like that eventually. Zirconium cerulean. I haven't heard of that. There is a tree trunk on the right side, which I'm cutting that off, and I'm instead doing like 3 main trees here. Okay. Ooh, I might regret this. But we're gonna go for it. We're gonna do the 3 main tree trunks because that's the last bit of paper color showing through. It's really annoying me. And having that filled in, I think, is gonna help. So let's see, we're gonna mix some earthy. I'm gonna do a cooler base. Let's try that. And then I can come back with like a bit of warmth if I need it. I'm kind of, when I do these trees, sometimes I'll just like draw. So instead of doing like a full thick paint swatch, I draw it in and kind of feel it out. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then if I'm happy with it, I'll keep going. I mean, I've already committed technically, like it's not like I can change the location of that tree, but it's more about I guess the way it's leaning. Maybe I can finesse the base a little bit if I wasn't quite happy, but I like where it is. So now we're gonna go for it. But then I need to still do this background a little bit. Even the paper color is working slightly in my advantage because it's tan and the highlighted side of the tree is similar to that color. So I could maybe even let a bit of that peek through. We'll see. But now that I've definitely adjusted my layout. My composition is not matching the photo, but I'm using the photo as inspiration for the lighting. That's what is beautiful to me. I'm gonna make this one come forward a little. Ooh, how about we give this one like bigger roots? Just kind of make that up. Yeah, definitely. What brand is it? I'd like to look into that. A compact travel palette. Just testing this. I'm kind of, yeah, okay. I think with this, now that I kind of see what's happening here, I'm gonna make that just a little bit darker. Kind of just glazing over this background. It always looks so dark when you first put the gouache down. But if it's a glaze, which means it has water mixed in, it always dries either lighter or darker. So like depending on what's behind it, or you know, if it's white paper, it's gonna be much different than if there's already gouache down on the page. Cerulean blue. I think it was Daniel Smith. No, I'm thinking of manganese blue hue. I think it was very gummy and like really hard to reactivate, and I kind of just like we were fighting, and I kind of blamed cerulean blue, or I like put cerulean blue in that camp, and I was like, we're fighting. I'm not using that anymore. So it was off my palette for a really long time. I know I have a couple tubes of different brands here somewhere, but I have to admit I am fully obsessed with lilac. Lilac plus any blue on my palette and white is going in the sky. Guaranteed. It's like I can't not use it. And I completely blame Ian Stewart for that. But I'm happy about it. I just never thought about using lilac till I met him. And it was like, okay, new favorite. I don't know if I want to... Actually, I probably do want to lean those a little more lilac-y. Yeah. We'll wait till the very end. I get so excited about doing the brush texture and the details way too early. So stop. Need to work on the rest first. Lilac and lavender. Yeah, lavender. Sorry, he uses lavender, not lilac. Lilac is my gouache color that looks like it, but lavender is the watercolor, and it's just so beautiful. Ah, so beautiful. You start when you're not good at creating or copying landscapes. Just do it, even if it's not good. Yep. I know that sounds not fun, but we all start somewhere. And like, maybe if you are a superhuman, maybe you somehow skipped the early stage of not doing great paintings, but like everybody starts in the same place. We all had to learn how to walk before we could run, pretty much. And having a good study plan, I think, is really helpful because it focuses less on, oh, I'm painting a thing and it's not turning out well, to, oh, this is one step in a line of many, 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 many steps that I'm going to take for the rest of my life to get better. And it's like, okay, pressure off. Now I can focus on just this particular step in this particular moment, knowing that it'll make the next step easier. So there's so many different ways you could make a study plan, or I don't know, like I say study plan, but I mean like a course of study for yourself. Obviously, you can take a class from someone. You can take a workshop with someone, and there's a ton of options out there. But even just trying to break down the steps you need yourself, like for instance, if you want to paint forests, it would be really helpful if you first practiced mixing the individual colors you see in the image. Like, before you even try to put all this together, what if you just sat down and tried to paint that, or tried to mix that color, and then this color, and then that color, and that, in each little area you see. You could even paint on top of a photo, because like color mixing in itself is its own skill and takes so much time. Drawing is also really, really important if you're going into like representational painting, meaning you want the painting to look like something recognizable. Drawing will be a big part of that. It's really hard to paint something if you don't know how to draw it. Like, landscapes are a little more forgivable, but once you start getting like buildings in there, or people, or cars, or animals, but honestly, even I find trees and things like that, it's really helpful to practice drawing them before painting them, because you learn so much about scale and proportion, and you also are building your hand-eye coordination. And because drawing is usually like black and white or grayscale, you're learning a lot about values. So like, where do you put the darker pigment versus the lighter pigment? All of these things. So maybe make baby steps for yourself in that sense too. Like, try to draw just a single tree. Maybe get a tree book and try to draw each tree you see in that book, like an oak tree versus an elm tree. And it might all sound boring, but like, if you love nature and that's why you're painting landscapes, just look at it like you're studying nature and you're getting closer to nature and you're learning more about nature. That can be a really good driving force to keep you motivated. And then also knowing, like, as you improve as an artist, you can go out into nature and commune with nature by drawing and painting it, and you feel so much closer to it. Like, at least I do. When I paint outside, I just feel so deeply immersed, and it's like you're having a conversation with nature in that moment. Wow, I really got onto a tangent there. So, yeah, practice. um, I mean, there are a lot of ways you could start approaching it. I try to think back to where I first started. So much of my progress, I think, came from repetition. Like I would draw the same or paint the same thing over and over and over again, or mostly drawing. And then when I started painting more, I would paint video game characters. I would paint landscapes from movies I liked. Like whatever got me super excited motivated me to paint it. And then I would find the next thing I was excited about, and I would just not stop. Like, yeah, I know that each one kind of sucked, but I was getting a little bit better each time. And if you're part of a art community, either in Twitch, that was where I kind of started. There's a really amazing supportive community there. We're all just sharing our progress. I mean, it's a little scary to share when you're first starting, but for the most part, people are very encouraging. And yeah, I just found that painting stuff I was excited about kept me going. Not just painting, like I didn't paint landscapes when I first started at all. It took a while to get to that point. And also to like give myself permission, because when I first started painting, I was streaming on Twitch, and I was, I was coming from like the world of video games and then fantasy art and all of that kind of stuff. It's like that was my whole identity as an artist and my whole audience as an art community. I was really scared to start, like I was always going out hiking and I was really enjoying kind of just sketching in nature. And I was like, I really want to get better at landscapes, but because I stream so much, I can't practice enough unless I'm doing it on stream. So I was really scared to do that in fear that I would lose my audience and also just like embarrass myself because I had no idea what I was doing. And like, yeah, that was a big transition for me. But then once I just embraced it, that took me to where I am today. Keep the ball rolling by staying excited about what you're painting. I literally started, like I said, I painted Halo characters, I painted Star Wars characters, just like Studio Ghibli, just whatever excited me for years. I think it took like maybe 2 years before I really embraced painting nature, but I think I also started painting like fantasy landscapes. So I kind of bridged the two there and then led into just like what I love doing now, which is nature. But I do love fantasy landscapes still. Focus. Okay. We're doing a 2-minute focus sprint here. Check chat in a second. So like I said, it's much easier if you have a base in a forest. If you like have that that kind of reddish floor, that base color, before you do the moss and the other things on top, because otherwise they won't really appear light enough or vibrant enough. This might even be, I guess it's not too red. It's so easy to go overboard with that because like photos will often oversaturate what you see. And then if you try to copy that in a painting, it's like, whoa, why does this look unnatural? But when you go out and study from life, you kind of get these visual memories of what it really looked like. You take such little steps in this painting, and with little steps your work grows so beautiful. That's what I love about painting, like we were talking about earlier. I love that moment in the painting where it goes from being total abstract chaos to kind of becoming recognizable. But I like to keep the abstract nature there as long as I can. And in some places I want it to stay more or less abstract, but then, yeah, obviously I want this to look like a forest in the end. So I'm always trying to find that line between the two. See, now I see. I should have done a little more. Some darker, bluer, heavy boughs back here. They weren't. Now that I see it compared to the trees, I'm like, I need a bit more shadow up here in the higher section. So then that kind of draws us down and the light can be coming through the forest here. And maybe some bluish shadowy trees in the back. I mean, the great thing about gouache is technically whatever you do, you can just cover it up again. So it kind of, it is a little bit, I would say, less stressful. Not that painting can, well, painting can sometimes be stressful, but yeah, this is live. Hi, I'm here. What was I saying? The painting can be stressful if you let it be, yeah. But I find gouache, especially acrylic gouache now, to be so stress-free. And again, like it's a sketchbook. Who cares? I guess I should care because I'm live, but now I know, like, or that's one thing that I used to be really fearful of when I first started streaming is, oh gosh, I'm doing this in front of people. Like, they're going to see that I don't know what I'm doing, or it's not going to turn out good. But after years of learning live in front of people, I know, like, that's way more relatable than if someone sat down and painted a beautiful, flawless masterpiece. Like, you'd just be like, I mean, that's cool too. I would like to watch that sometimes, but also I love watching artists work through problems and work through just ideas. I love the unknown in the process and seeing how someone handles that. So I know that it's okay to do that, or at least I do that, and people are still here. So I guess there's that. It's just knowing that everybody kind of has to start somewhere. Everyone goes, especially if you're, yeah, we're sketching. We're not trying to make a commission, right? So take the pressure off yourself. Don't treat every single piece like it has to be perfect, or it might be seen by someone. Like maybe nothing you do this entire week needs to be seen by anyone, or the entire month, whatever you need to do to take that pressure off. Some gouache Xmas cards. Not originals though, right? So quick note, I talked about this at the beginning of stream, but I am doing a holiday print sale, which kind of the point. Obviously a sale is great, but also at the end of this year, I'm retiring all of the current prints on my shop, and I'll probably just sell whatever remaining stock I have of like the greeting cards. But in the new year, my plan is to release some limited edition print runs. So rather than just doing like, we print on demand right now for the most part. We have some stuff that's in stock that's ready to go, but in the new year, it's going to be limited edition prints, like 20 of one thing. Once they're gone, they're gone. Because I have the same prints on my shop from like 5 years ago. I've added a few here and there, but so many of them are so old, and I'm so sick of looking at them. And yes, I know some people like them, but like I just need to move on. So I'm making space for that. And I've been thinking about what cards to make in the future. I don't think I have any gouache art on my cards, so that's definitely gonna happen. I would like to do an art calendar next year instead of just photography calendar. Maybe both. We'll see. It's a sketchbook. Who cares? I'm gonna write that on the front of my sketchbook. Yes. Yes. Let's just make a sticker and we can pass it around. We can each have one on the front of our sketchbook. I would put that on my sketchbook. You're doing gouache painting? What's on YouTube? Welcome. We're slowly making our way through this. I was thinking about how different this process is when I live stream to my regular process. It's very interesting. I'm so curious how how different the result will feel from my normal stuff because of how slow it is. I kind of like the idea of like a couple more shadowy trees back here. And then these being slightly lighter. How do I, because then it's like the light's bouncing around. Yeah, okay. 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 We'll try that. If it doesn't work, then we'll come back with how satisfying is it going to be taking this tape off? Like, look at that mess. That's gonna be so satisfying. Oh my gosh. Now let's give that a little light. Okay, so the main issue is I might need to get a tube of lavender because I don't think I can mix purple. Usually, you know, I'm all about the purple and the green in my forest, but that's why I chose burnt sienna for this, because I didn't want to lean in that direction so much. But I kind of wanted a little bit for my tree, my light bouncing around the tree. Let's hold off for as long as I possibly can and then maybe come back later. If I can do like a hint of blue, yeah, maybe that'll work. Maybe there's no purple in this painting. Is that sad? No. It's good to have a variety. This is like me talking myself down. It's okay. You don't need purple. Aw. I'm so glad you're here. I love live streams when I'm like not feeling great. I just put it on in the background. Feels like I have some company. Nope, I need more red-ish brown for the tree. Maybe orangey kind of. Then next to that, we'll try. Like, oh, it's because my yellow is drying. I'm like, why can I not pick up my yellow? I guess it's been a while since I poured that out, hasn't it? Yeah, okay. The color I just mixed is basically the same color as the sketchbook. So it's like, why didn't I just save that for the sketchbook? Save the color of the sketchbook, I mean. I like to do little tests as I'm working out my lighting because I may add a bit more orange to that though. Tea and blankets and pets. Best combo. I am all about working in bed lately. Like, I bring my laptop to edit videos in bed. I think I like that a little better. I think you aren't going to be able to see some of these differences I'm doing until it dries. Or maybe even later. I need to add more. I need to start adding my moss though, because it's like, this is deceiving. So we want some bright green for the pops of light. I don't think I'll... Sometimes when I'm doing the light coming into the forest, like this beam of light, sometimes I'll start with the brightest possible moment. Other times I'll start with the base color and then like layer up to that light moment. I think it's a little easier to layer up to it, but sometimes I'll just like jump right into it. What I'm doing now is kind of a thin color, so it's gonna let some of the background show through a little, which will make it darker. The mixing area. Yeah, I love the palette. When I'm done, I usually take a photo of... I have so many photos of my palettes over the years. That could be its own art show. I'm trying to think. I'm probably going to add a lot more darkness to the base of these trees. So at the moment, I'm kind of just drawing my moss, playing with placement, but I'll have to probably do another layer on top of that later. Also, lately, I've been playing with this idea of like mounds of gouache, but you also need a shadow side. I'm sorry if I'm confusing anybody with my random painting thoughts, because it's not like I'm talking about the whole process from start to finish. I just like burst out with an idea and it's like, I don't know if this makes any sense if you're not in my head. Like, we can talk about other stuff. Does anyone have any good movies or shows lately? Because literally anything will be better than rewatching Lost, which is what we're doing. But I can't, like, I watched it when it originally came out and I remember nothing. All I remember is the first episode when they crashed. So I'm still in that. We're like 3 or 4 episodes in and I'm like, ah, the show, ugh, why are we watching this? But then I keep playing the next episode. And Wolfy remembers what happens. What a blast from the past. I know, it's like, why are you... I never finished the series because I think I just got busy and couldn't get back into it years and years and years ago. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure it won't take long for me to fall... to stop watching it, but just would love some recommendations. The writers even got lost in that one. Yeah. Oh gosh. It just popped up on Netflix and I was like, oh, remember Lost? Oh my gosh. So funny. We've watched all of Taskmaster. Dropout is a bunch of fun. I feel like I've seen some of that just because Wolfy watches it. He watches so many random shows that I don't know about, like British shows. Penguin, Slow Horses. A lot of these I've been recommended. You just started Lost? Oh, have you ever watched it before? It's one of those cringy shows, but you just keep watching it. I mean, I can barely handle the camera shake though. Like the first, I don't know if it gets better as you get through the seasons, but I don't remember it being this bad, but I could barely look at the TV sometimes because the camera's like, they're like, oh, it's an action scene, make the camera shake, and then they'll do a calm scene, and it's just a still camera, and you're like, okay, and then jump scare, something happens, camera shake, you can barely see what's happening. Okay, that was a bit dramatic, but I mean, why does it have to be that much? I pretty much watched all of Countdown. I watched Big Bang Theory. I've watched a lot of US shows. But, yeah, I'm sure there's some new ones that I haven't seen yet. My Discord just recommended me some K-dramas, and well, there's a lot of recommendations flying around in Discord. So I have a really long list. I don't even know where to start now. Wait, Slow Horses. Have I seen that? Is that the one with the guy who starred in Office Space? Because if so, we have seen that. But we don't have that subscription service anymore. So if there's a new season, or do we? I keep forgetting which subscription we have. We keep changing, like from Disney to Paramount and whatever. I watched pretty much all, a lot of Taskmaster. I watched a lot of 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, or maybe all of it, I don't know. That's Louder Milk. Okay, sorry. Yes. Then I haven't seen Slow Horses. So yeah, that was one that was recommended to me in Discord as well. So clearly I need to watch it because many people are recommending it. I watched, when we had whatever it was on, I watched Ted Lasso. And I've watched a lot of shows. But I don't have a great memory. So like I'll remember a show. I'll remember if I like a show, but I won't necessarily remember all the details. So I can go back and watch a show again in like 2 years and a lot of stuff is new to me again. Probably early onset acute Alzheimer's kicking in. It's definitely in my family, so it's bound to happen. But it means that I can rewatch shows and movies a lot and still enjoy it. But then again, you also have your comfort movies and your comfort shows, which I can watch a lot, like over and over, right? Guilty pleasure admission. What is your guilty pleasure movie that you've watched a lot? Too many times. Mine, I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure because it actually was like a aha, whoa movie when I first saw it, but it's, what is it? Oh God, the name. Oh no, The Social Network. Just because I feel like it's so nostalgic. I lived through that happening. I was in college when Facebook came out. I lived through that transition. So even if the movie itself isn't great, that brings back so many memories. Also, there's parts of it where the soundtrack I really like, and I'll just like play it in the background. Dirty Dancing is an amazing movie. That's not a guilty pleasure. Love Actually is an amazing movie. Well, no, I get it though. Like, when you hear guilty pleasure, you think, oh, it's anything that isn't conceptual and deep and philosophical, right? Like, yeah. I get it. But I think those movies have a place in society. What's wrong with watching something because it makes you feel good? The Hobbit, for nothing but the music. Oh man, yeah, like I'll put so many different fantasy movies on just for the soundtrack. French Kiss? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that in so long. I had the cassette tape soundtrack for that movie, if that tells you. Oh my god. Crazy Rich Asians. Have I seen that? I think I have seen that. I remember thinking, oh, that was cute. There's so many. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm getting lost, aren't I? I'm getting lost in Lost. Sometimes when I do these kinds of scenes, I'm like kind of getting towards starting some of the detail. Or, you know, like now I'm doing some of the moss, and as I do some of the moss, I'm like, oh, well, now I have to stop doing the moss because I didn't make that part the right color or the right, like, dark enough. So then it starts getting a little slow. But the other thing I don't want to do is make it too dark. These types of scenes, this is why I'm studying this, because it's like I either don't go dark enough or I go too dark in my forests. So I'm trying to get better at sort of that middle ground where I'm not using anything ultra, ultra dark because I want it to feel like there's a lot of light in the forest. I don't want to go too saturated because then it's just like a bit too much all over the place. And I still want to be able to capture the sense of light moving through the forest. And it's a fun excuse to practice the kind of abstraction versus reality thing. I can never get enough of that. I think it's also good to practice not overdoing texture everywhere. That's another thing I do a lot in forests is I just put so many textures. Like there's no place for the eye to rest. So really consciously deciding like where I'm going to leave some stuff a little bit slightly more flat, maybe a little bit more space so that every single square millimeter isn't busy. Although I do really like paintings of really chaotic forests. So, I don't know. Men in tights. Oh my gosh. Quotable. What music am I playing? It is Epidemic Sound. And all I did was search for acoustic relaxing instrumentals. But since I use Epidemic Sound, it won't get like copyrighted, you know? I've used so many different music services over the years, like everything you could think of. But I keep going back to Epidemic Sound because it's just easy and cheaper than some of the other ones, and a really, like, for what I like typically use, it's you can get a lot of nice, just chill, relaxing things. there's music playing. It's very, very light in the background. I kind of just was playing it for myself, and I turned it really low for the stream because I didn't want it to compete at all. I wonder if little Akira is gonna join us at all. Him and Floki are being very, very sleepy on the bed. Super cozy. They're doing 50% off yearly plan. Ooh, that's amazing. I already paid for the year, so I don't know if it would matter for me. Maybe I'll just do light on those two and have this one come forward a bit. Trying to focus for a second so I can plan out my light strategy. I think I'm getting close to... I hear something. Oh, look at the babies. Floki looks like a big fish. I love Floki's pattern. Oh, I want to cuddle him. I have his brush in here. Let's see if he comes over. I was just like, Kira. We'll see. Probably shouldn't, because then he's gonna try to climb on the desk. Can you save this chat with all the movie rec? Oh, hi, baby. The chat will be available in the replay. Hi, little boy. Does he want to come say hi? He's looking at me with very sleepy eyes. Oh. You want to come say hi? Is he snoring and sleeping? Yes. Yes. I think that was a yes. Is this a kitten? Little kitten loaf. There it is. Does he like his brushy? How he's just hanging in his arms. Silly loaf. Stop. You being a sleepy boy? Yeah. Just sit like this. Yeah. Okay. That was a mini cat break, I guess. Oh, wait. I wonder if he's gonna do that thing that he does. I start talking. Like, a lot of times he'll be sleepy in my arms, pretty much falling asleep, and then I'll be on the phone suddenly, or I'll be talking to someone, or I don't know, Wolfy will be in the other room and I'll be talking, and he just like bats my face, like, stop talking. I'm sleeping. Yes. Just a sleepy baby. What's that? Little kitty break. But sometimes it's good to look away from your painting for a minute. Get like a little change of perspective. And then look at it again and start to see things fresh. Any specific paintings or painters who use gouache that have inspired you? Oh yeah, tons. I mean, there's so many incredible artists who use gouache. Scott Christensen, Mike Hernandez, James Gurney, Nathan Fowkes, like, even those four. There's so many more, but even those four, always the first four that come to my mind. Have a gander. The little steely baby. Yes. Let's. The tail is starting. This is when you know he's starting to get a little awake. A little hyper. Yeah. Little bit awake. Look at these little feetsies. Toe beans. He has like noticeable fingers. Like long, I don't know if you could see that. Long paws. Now we have a tail to join us on stream. As long as I don't use thick paint. Okay. Now we can look at the painting again with fresh eyes. He's staring at my brush. I'm not sure if he's like making a plan to attack or... He's like a little mesmerized. You can kind of see him in the video still. You watching? Please don't attack it though. Oh, he's a long kitty, stretching out any second. I need to get like a little closer, but I don't want to make him close to it. It's gonna be so incredibly satisfying to take that tape off. What is it, little? Ah! I just flung my brush. I didn't get you, did I? No. Okay. There's like nothing really on it. I had so much caffeine today, Mary. I had 2 coffees and a matcha. For a while, I was feeling a crazy wired. But it was good because I knew I needed to like keep my stream up and make it until 6 p.m. at least to start the stream. We've been streaming for 2.5 hours. I said this stream would be 2 hours. Okay, we need to max it at 3. It's gonna take me a while to like wind down after this, and I'm gonna be painting with my plein air group tomorrow at like 10:30 a.m. So I need to not be up ultra late all wired. And I was up until like 1:30 a.m. last night. Put the cat down. He has fallen asleep in my lap while I've painted before. Okay, I think need to do some moss. Cool moss. Yes, there's lots of information in the description about like some print sales, some brush sales, some fun stuff going on right now. I'm making like little mounds, dotted mounds. Which is kind of fun. Just a little bit of a stylistic test. Instead of like sweeping lots of dry brush all over the whole thing, I'm just trying to get like a little more playful with that part. We'll see. And then, okay, so I'm already getting hungry again. And I ate right before stream. Streaming makes me so hungry for some reason. remember that when I was streaming on Twitch a lot, I would end just ravenous. Definitely experimenting in this one a lot compared to what I might normally do, so this is really fun. How are your projects going? Whatever you're working on right now? Are you still sketching and painting with me? Oh, I forgot I have biscuits. Are you going to do the final 10-minute sprint sketch? No, I'm not going to have time. I am going to finish this painting. But maybe it's a good video topic. Maybe like this coming week I can do a video where I maybe show what I did here and talk about the process of doing this, and then paint it again without, you know, distractions and my normal kind of quick flowy stuff at the beginning, and just see that difference. I don't know. Is that too... I've been doing a lot of like, let's paint it again type videos, and I'm like, is that boring? I love it. That is a huge part of my process. So for me, it makes sense. And I feel like it's really valuable to talk about those things, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, how bored is everyone of this? Let's get some highlights so I can start thinking about that. That light pouring into the opening. Maybe it's kind of a fun idea to leave the outside a little bit less crowded. So doing I'm just gonna paint. I'm not gonna guess. We're just gonna paint and find out. You're not bored? Okay. I try not to let like the YouTube statistics sway me. I've always really tried to just make whatever the heck kind of video I wanted to make that week, whatever's inspiring me, whatever I'm working on, whatever I feel like I need to do. But then sometimes you see your dashboard and it's like, this video did the worst out of any video you've ever made. Do you want some tips for how to make better videos? Because now AI is part of YouTube and they'll like give you all these ideas and suggestions. It's really hard to ignore that. So yeah, I don't know. I think every single YouTuber sometimes will question their approach, their strategy to their channel and like what they're doing. Cause I mean, it's not like YouTube itself is what I do for a living, but it is a big part of how I make a living, just purely for the fact that like people find me on YouTube and then they do my tutorials and join my Patreon, and it's like a wheel that turns, you know, or gears that turn. Like if one gear isn't there, the rest won't turn. So it's not like I can completely ignore it, but also the only reason I am where I am now is because I've kept that mentality of like, only do what inspires me, only do what I love, only do what matters to me. Or at least if I'm gonna like advertise, like if I'm making a video about my gouache subscription boxes, that's just an addition to my normal stuff. It's not like that's the only thing I'll do, or I'll try to do something else as well that week. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm just I do think it's a common thing though with YouTubers to question now and then. That's the dashboard. 10 out of 10 down arrows. Oh, it's, I mean, yeah. Multiple looks at the scene reinforces how many choices there are. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And how even one little choice, like a color mix or it can influence it so much. The result can be influenced. Outwardly it appears like people are making amazing one-offs all the time. Yeah. I mean, sometimes that happens. Sometimes that's, yeah, you can make something incredible and you just need to make it once and you're happy and you move on. But I guess it just depends, and each project maybe is going to be different as well. Maybe for certain things you only need to do it once, and then for other things, if I'm trying to learn something specific, maybe about lighting or atmosphere, then I absolutely have to paint it more than once, or at least paint similar things, similar scenes that have similar atmospheres. So if I'm doing that for my own study and I only have so many hours each week, I'm going to have to record one of those and share those on YouTube. So it's like, that's where I'm like, is it a bit too repetitive for viewers? I honestly gave up trying to understand my statistics years ago. I genuinely don't get it. So again, I guess I'm living proof that you don't have to look at your statistics. Because even it I think what's more important is just being authentic to yourself, whatever you're working on as an artist, whatever you're interested in. I mean, yeah, you can, there's certain video types you can make that will definitely guarantee you views, but it depends what kind of channel you're trying to have. I have too many things I want to get better at and work on that I find fascinating, that I'm like, I really hope there's like a small percentage of people out there that might also be into this. And then I just share it and I'm like, okay, we'll see. And if not, then oh well, there's always next week. Maybe we should just make a YouTube channel that's called Who Cares? It's just a sketchbook. And that channel is literally just trying things like this, doing this in sketchbooks. I would watch a channel like that. I mean, I do kind of have YouTubers that I watch that pretty much always just work in sketchbooks, and it's really interesting to watch. What? How did I get... Oh my god! That was a drop of water. I didn't see it. And now my paint is missing there. One of those days. Suck it up. We all got problems. Let's see if we can color match what was back there. Probably not, but we can get close. YouTube wants constant jumps from viewpoint, and that drives me nuts. depth is valuable beyond stats. I think I know what you're saying, and I agree. Like, oh, that's what I was gonna say. I'm proof that you don't have to follow your stats to make a channel that works, I guess. And you can just do what you want to do. If you're excited about it, if you love it, and it comes across in your videos, people relate to that. Same way, because I know from experience watching other people that I'm excited about because they're excited about the thing. Like, if they genuinely love what they're doing, I think about like Nerdforge. They have an amazing channel of just making cool shit all the time. And they're so excited, over the top, nerding out about it. It's so much fun to watch that energy. They could do anything, whatever they do. They're just excited about it. So I love watching it. And I think I realized that the other day when they were making something, and I was like, I don't care about this thing at all that they're making. I just love watching their energy and love seeing them getting excited about it. And it was just a reminder. So, yeah, focus on that. I am at that kind of stage in this painting where I'm colorblind to it. I'm subject and colorblind to what I'm doing, and I can't see it for what it is anymore. So it's probably worth just kind of wrapping it up soon. Oh, let's try to... Someone said paint a bird's nest, but it's a bit too big for that. I'm just gonna kind of do a couple layers of color there. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah, I think this would be a fun subject to explore this week. So if whatever I do, if I stop this painting what I'm saying is whenever I stop the stream, I'm done with the painting, then I look at it with fresh eyes in a few days and I either do it again or maybe just critique it and do a new version, but not obviously trying to copy it exactly. Like, maybe I critique this one and then paint the scene again without looking at this, just looking at the reference photo. So how would I do it with fresh eyes, fresh perspective, based on what I learned on this one? Yeah, just to see those differences. I think that could be kind of, I would be interested in watching an artist go through that. So probably just gonna do it, guys. So if you see this scene again this week, you'll know why. Yeah, okay. I think it's more or less fine there. It's not really a drop of water anymore. The thing I needed to avoid, or what I was trying to avoid in the original, I feel like it's too... I was trying to avoid going too contrasty, because I was mentioning earlier, I'm trying to avoid going ultra dark in my shadowy areas. I tend to do that like in the cracks. It's really fun to have contrast in paintings, don't get me wrong, I enjoy that, but I'm trying to get better at a tighter value structure. Is that what you would call it, Akira? No. Don't do that. No. He goes behind my shelf back there and chews on my paper blocks. There's a paper block back there that has multiple kitten teeth piercings on the corner. So if I ever use it, I have to like cut that edge off. I think the music stopped. That's that's like when you're on stage and they cue you like, oh, time's up. Get off the stage. Oh wait. Oh no, that's the heater. It's like, I do hear it. Yeah, Oh, I forgot what I was saying earlier, but basically just words. This is really tricky with just burnt sienna because I so easily fall back on my purple. Like, I just want my purple. I keep reaching for the red. I mean, I can see, I know that I use it as it's almost like a color crutch in a way. I'm trying to get away from that, but I just love it. Oh, what I was saying about value. Yeah, I'm trying to get better at creating tighter value structures, meaning it doesn't go all the way up to super super bright or all the way down to super super dark. It stays more in the middle. And if you can still create a scene that has a lot of depth, especially, and you're only staying in the middle of those values, so it's like a lot of grays, a lot of middle tones. I mean, yes, I will have a pop of light, but that to me is like so empowering. If I can do that, I can paint so many different types of atmospheres and effects, like land effects of light in the landscape. But it is so hard to become sensitive to that. So basically, like, I'll study masters paintings that do that really well, so they won't have super high contrast. I'll pick a painting that's very low contrast, where they keep those values in the middle, more or less. You learn so much doing that. So yeah, that's something that I really hope to improve on this year. Because then it's not just about painting with gray. No, it's not about the gray. It's just about the value. Middle tones or like tighter value structure is naturally going to be a lot of grays. Although you can also have high saturation. Like, you could have bright red and bright green next to each other, and technically, if you turned it black and white, they're like the same value, which is so mind-boggling to me. So yeah, you could still paint a painting like that with vivid colors, but if you are able to see color, as long as you're not colorblind, you see high contrast because that vivid green and vivid red that are next to each other are complements, and so just they look super different. That you see contrast. It's so wild. Color theory is so crazy. Ugh, it's such a weird phenomenon to me. Can I call it a phenomenon? It feels like it. Okay. What I think would be fun is to maybe add. Oh God, there's so much cat hair on my brush. I don't know if you could see that cat hair. I don't know. Did it like fall? No. Yeah, this tree, I think I'm actually gonna make it darker than the others. And I also want to kind of pull the base down a little bit. But I was thinking it would be fun to add a couple like fallen branches and ferns and things, but I might just save that for the remake. Oh yeah, Marco makes really good videos. He's really good at talking about concepts, art concepts, design concepts, just art in general. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make this tree darker because when I looked away and looked back at it, I'm like, if it's too light or the same as these, it just falls away or it goes too far back. So let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? And maybe like make some cooler roots in the foreground. Excuse Excuse you, what are you doing, mischiefer? Yeah, my music is gone. Let's play it again. I just feel like I need something. Kira, where are you going? Where are you going? Oh, wait, no. No. Oh my god. Just unplugged the freaking sound off my PC. Shoo. Can you please call to him? Sake. I don't want to shut my door because it's hot. See, this is, I'm getting a little too dark, I think. I'm leaning away from my, well, let's see if it dries really dark. It might dry a little lighter. This is the fascinating thing, though, about value and color, is that it's all relative. Like, if you can't have light or dark without the other. You can't have vivid or neutral without the other. Sort of. Clearly I'm tired. Sorry if I've missed anything in chat. My mind is a little bit struggling to do all the things at this late stage in the stream. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Hanging out on your Saturday. It's Saturday, right? Yeah. If you missed it, I did also post a vlog over on my other YouTube channel, which has lots of Scotland life as well as art stuff. Kira, stop. He's trying to push his way into my office. So if you like, or if you want more, you can go check that out. Oh, I need to not make that so dark. He's trying to get in. Well, he's in. He's below my feet now, and he's... Sake. He's trying to get the massager. Little weirdo. Like, he at first was scared of it. The muscle massager, that he'd run away. Maybe the next 2 times I used it, he was like, what's that? And now he, like, I'll do it to him. I'll, like, massage his sides or his back just, like, gently. And he's like, ah, and he attacks it. And then as soon as I stop, he, like, runs towards me to get at it again. Like, he wants it more. He, like, rolls over and waits. It's so funny. I think he's just kind of fascinated by it. I don't know. Okay. It's good when I, like, look away and then look back at it and start to see things. It's okay to rest now. Yeah, I am going to rest as much as my mind allows. Me resting is like researching and, well, watching YouTube and like reading, and I guess I can never really fully rest. Well, that is rest in a way. It's rest from being the one talking. It's a different part of my mind that feels more restful. So I am excited to now think about this a little more and talk about this in the next video. Since there obviously are a lot of people that weren't in this live stream, they won't know anything about this, so I might do a little recap or something of what happened today, and then just apologize to them for when they come back and watch this. They're gonna be like, Oh my god, this person rambles so much. There's always all of these little details that I like to do at the very end that now I'm just like, I don't want to rush through it just because I'm ending and I'm getting tired, but yeah. Okay. The darker tree. Yeah, it definitely was just too... I think it needs even more just... Okay. I think it needs a teeny bit of... just like rough bark textures. I need to move that because it's stopping my hand just from like these little flicks of this. As long as I don't do too much, maybe it'll still give me the same effect I'm going for. Like, I didn't want to go too dark anywhere. I might dry a little lighter. Yeah, we'll see. When I wake up tomorrow and I see this again, I'm going to be like, I will see so many things I want to change, I'm sure. Mood is mysterious. I kind of ignored this side. I was just fixated over here, but yeah, not horrible for a live stream. That's like I wouldn't say my standards are lower for a live stream. My standards are different because I don't think I'll ever be able to paint the same on a live stream as I do not talking or, you know, being distracted. But like I said, I think this is so fascinating to see the difference in the strategies I use. Like this has so much more dry brush than I would normally do from the very beginning that I really want to explore that more in a purposeful way, you know? But I definitely need to still work on the low contrast thing. That's tricky in a forest especially. Jeez. But I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. I can't wait to see this tomorrow or the next day with fresh eyes and be like, what? Okay. And then do it again. And I'll use the same colors. How's that? I'll use the same colors. I'll just look at it with a different fresh perspective, and I'll use this to paint. I won't look... Oh my gosh, we have to do the tape peel. Actually, I'll just put this here. The tape peel. Yeah, the live streams are different, but I love that. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't tear, because it has a lot of, or it had a lot of paint. And then there. Oh my gosh, it's so satisfying. Wow. What a relief. What a relief to see that clean edge. This one especially. No, I'm gonna save that one for the end. Ugh. Okay. It tore my paper at the very end. I knew that was going to happen. But, oh, that's so satisfying. Okay. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Oh, let's go came back to say goodbye. So, one last chance. Say goodbye, little boy. Eek. Thank you for hanging out with me, everybody. I had fun. I'm just tired. I really look forward to exploring this more. And yeah, I guess I'll figure out if I'm going to do another stream anytime soon and post that. Nope, you're not allowed on my... Oh, by the way, I got a new chair. He used to climb up on the back of it and click it. Floki's in the other room sleeping. He loves his naps. And I'm sure Akira was bugging him and he got kicked out. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out with me today. Don't forget, there's links in the description for sales on my brushes and my prints and all sorts of fun things. The gouache subscription boxes are also available if you want to learn more about gouache. Those are great if you've never tried it before, especially. I just want to catch up in chat. I'm probably going to go back and read through at least the last like hour of chat just to like skim and see if I missed anything, because I know I was a little bit distracted at the end. So I'm glad Wolfy was helping me, and thank you Sketches for helping as well, and Heiko, thank you for modding. If I missed any questions, please post them as comments, or anything else you want to talk about or mention, post it as a comment separately because I'll definitely see those. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna, I guess, let's see. Yeah, we're done. I am gonna sign off now. So thanks everybody. Have a wonderful week and I'll see you very soon.